Greetings, everyone. And obviously, I am not Dr. James J.C. Cooley, but I am Dr. Stacey Bulluck, and we are going to have a fantastic show today. Sometimes we owe ourselves to take a break, and today and tomorrow I'll be hosting, sitting in for Dr. James Cooley. I got some big shoes to fill here. But I tell you what, we are going to still have a fantastic show because we're ready, we're prepared, and we're going to talk to somebody who I consider to be legendary in her own right. I'm not going to give too much away because we're going to get this party started a little bit further in a few more minutes. But I just want to talk about what it means to be a legend, to leave a legacy behind. And that's what our guest has done and is doing. And I am so proud to know her because she has been a great influence in my life as a military veteran and a lot of other military veteran women. She has been a substantial, how can I say, matriarch or patriarch in their lives. I tell you what, we're going to come back shortly after we get this party started with KCBQ. We are going to invite our radio guest in so they can have a good time with us. How about that? It's on you, Todd.
Dr. J.C. Cooley, the J. Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. Dr. J.C. Cooley, the J. Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. Dr. J.C. Cooley. The J. Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello.
All right, we're live, Dr. Bulluck.
Yes, we are. And it's awesome to be here live on KCBQ Radio in San Diego, California. We are inviting all the guests in to come in today. And excuse me, let me back up just a minute and let the listeners know why you hear this voice instead of Dr. J.C. Cooley. I am Dr. Stacey Bulluck. I am sitting in for the illustrious Dr. J.C. Cooley while he takes a little break. We all need that sometimes, but we're here to bring a fantastic show. We're going to have a fabulous time with this guest. This guest, as I said earlier, she is legendary. She brings a wealth of knowledge and information from the military, from the civilian sector, from the veteran service organizations. And I'm telling you, oh my goodness, it is going to be a great show. So let's bring her on right now. We have with us Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I am so glad to have you here. You all are oh my goodness, I can't even tell you what you mean to my life and how instrumental you are in my life. I watch you from afar. I used to watch you close up when I was in Southern California, but I'm not there anymore. I am out here in Texas, but that's okay because see, connections and relationships were built, and I'm so appreciative. So we're just gonna jump right in and get started and ask you what is it that prompted you even to want to start your wonderful military career? And while you're getting ready to answer that, I will go into a little bit of your bio after that. So just go ahead and give us a little bit of background about why you decided to join the military.
Okay. I wish I could say it was because of my dad, who was a World War II veteran. However, it was not. It was because I lived in Staten Island, New York, and I lived near a Navy base, reserve unit. And I was walking by one day and I was just curious. I said, let me go in and see what this is all about. So I went in and I spoke with them, and they kind of encouraged me to join the reserves. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that until they explained to me that as a nurse, that I had really great opportunities in the military. I had an associate degree in nursing at that time, and I was in school for my bachelor's. And they told me that once I got my bachelor's, I could be an officer. And that's what really piqued my interest, because I knew that I was a few months away from graduation and that I could be an officer in the Navy. So that's why I joined the military.
Oh, wow. Wow. That just out of curiosity, walking in, and then you had a 26-year career in the military, spanning in the Navy, Air Force, and the Army, as well as serving at the Department of Veterans Affairs as the Women's Veterans Program Manager. Oh my goodness. This seems like it, where you were talking about it, it was almost as if it were yesterday, but it wasn't. Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley began her career as a nurse in 1964, later joined the military in 1977, and as you heard, she is a veteran of 26 years. If that's not dedication, I don't know what dedication is. So, I know you've done many other things outside of what I just read, and you just received a phenomenal accolade. Can you tell us what that was all about?
I was just inducted into the Army, Women's Army Hall of Fame in March of last year. That they recognize individuals who have done exceptional work in the community or in the military. And that was one of the most phenomenal experiences of my lifetime. Um, I, I could not believe the number of people that attended the event and the honorees from the selection that they had. And there were generals and senior enlisted people that had really done remarkable things in the military and outside of the military, and also in the community.
Well, you have also done some remarkable things in the military and outside of the military. And also you served when we met, you were the president of the National Association of Black Military Women. And that was something that I wasn't even aware of as a veteran. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, how many other organizations are out there that I'm not aware of that I can be a part of to still help in serving my community? So tell us a little bit about that experience, and we'll take a break after that.
Okay. The National Association of Black Military Women, the primary goal is to tell the story of Black women who served in the military. And the organization was created based on the fact that the story was not being told. And over the years, it has emerged to a credible organization that has done some outstanding things in the community. During my tenure there, I testified before Congress twice, and one time when I testified was for the Deborah Sampson Act, which opened up a lot of avenues at the VA hospital. So I'm very proud of the achievements that I made because we connected with the community on many levels. We worked with West Point, Soldier Projects, and many other organizations. So there are they have created so many more chapters since I left, and they are all throughout the United States. They have three chapters in Texas, as a matter of fact, and all over. They just chartered a chapter in Chicago, so it's growing by leaps and bounds.
Yes, and you know what? I know that you were very instrumental in this growth because I remember you were, pushing us and being the lead, the head coach as you are, and putting that fire up underneath us and saying, hey, ladies, let's get this moving and growing so that it can expand across the entire country. Look at this. We got the Veterans Advocacy Group of America has joined in and saying how thankful they are to have you as a friend and a mentor.
Oh, thank you.
That is just awesome. We are going to take a break, but I tell you what, if you want to be a part of this conversation, whatever platform that you're on, please jump in and ask your questions of Lieutenant Colonel Jackson-Kelley or call in 888-344-1170. We'll be right back.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many Black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many Black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
The J.C. Cooley Foundation is a nonprofit organization that was started in October of 2014. The J.C. Cooley Foundation continues to strive to expand its programs and offerings to the youth, young adults, and citizens of our great communities nationwide and overseas. We hope that you'll be able to take part in one or more of the many exciting events that we're offering this year and experience firsthand the pride we take in supporting our cause. It's our mission to equip the youth of today for the challenges of tomorrow. And we rely heavily on the generosity of individuals and business owners for support. Without the assistance of community-minded individuals just like you, we wouldn't be able to serve our youth each year. We ask that you make a commitment to support our annual appeal by making a cash donation. This year's goal is $50,000. Your generosity will assist us in making a difference in the lives of the youth in our community. You can give online at CooleyFoundation.org. Remember that every donation makes a difference regardless of size. The J.C. Cooley Foundation thanks you in advance for your contribution.
Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, the true life coming of age story by James J.C. Cooley. Using humor, wit, and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural deep South town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Stacey Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
And just like that, we are back.
The James Cooley.
All right. I love the music. I love the commercials. But I want to know. I was getting ready to say Dr. Jackson Kelly. Maybe I'm speaking some things into existence here. But is there a moment in your military career that you would say that sticks out to you and cause you to want to continue to push on many years after retirement?
Um, there were several moments. I think the tour that I did overseas was something that was an awakening experience for me. I was stationed in Portugal, in the Azores, and it's right outside of Portugal. And um, the, I guess, the connection with the community and the ability to see how fortunate we are here in the United States allowed me to really go outside of my military experience and come from a humanistic point of view. So I think that encouraged me to do more with my career, thinking that if I further my military career, that I could do additional things with the community, serving, and especially for women veterans.
Wow. You know, I don't know if I have a moment like that in the military. And to hear you say what you just said with the passion and the compassion, I believe that has stemmed over into what you do now and how you go about doing it. And I love I'll say, if it's a word, meticulousness of how you go about serving. That is the most awesome thing for me to watch, how you serve and you do it tirelessly. It's like it just oozes out of you. Tell us a little bit about working at the Women's Veterans Program at the VA.
Yeah. Well, initially, when I started at the VA, I was the nurse manager for a 40-bed substance abuse ward. And during that time, we would only have like two or three women with 37 or 36 men. It was always 40 patients, but women were always in the minority. And I found myself advocating for those women because I was the first one to make sure that they had a bed near the nurses station. And I also was the first one to make sure they had a sign on their door to knock before they enter. So privacy was a big thing for me, for them. And so I think working in that area and getting familiar with the needs of the women's veteran uh, encouraged me to apply for the position as the women's veteran. It was the women's veteran coordinator at that time. Now it's the women's veteran program manager. And so I became one of the first of the 21 women program manager nationwide. And during that time, they didn't even have sanitary napkins in the canteen for women. And so I was very proud of the progress that was made prior to my leaving. We had a state of the art mammography unit. We had a women's clinic, and we had dedicated personnel for the women. So a lot of progress was made.
Yes, and me being a woman veteran and going to the VA now, I know why some of the things are in place. Ladies and gentlemen, we are, like I said, talking to a legend. There are a lot of things in place right now for women veterans, And I know that you were instrumental in getting these things done, especially, and somebody might think it's real simple, just to knock on the door to let somebody know that you're going to enter and, give that person the dignity and respect that
Right.
we all deserve, but especially as far as women veterans. Whew, you have pushed the needle. I'm so happy. I am so excited. Every time I go to the VA now, I'm gonna be thinking, what? Oh, did Lieutenant Colonel have her hand in this? Did she have her hand in that? Because there's so many things that we didn't have, as you mentioned. Some of the things that were not available. Can you tell us about some of the adversity that you may have faced while
Oh,
I know there are probably many. If you could just pick one, that would be great.
I did. There was a lot of adversity faced. First of all, they will say, you know, you just looking out for these women, and a lot of time they are manipulating, and they just would not believe some of the things that these women had endured. The sexual trauma, the harassment, and coming to the VA and not being recognized as a woman veteran. So some of the things that I faced was being assigned from one leadership position to another leadership position. They didn't quite know what to do with me because I had refused to be silent, and I spoke up for what I believed in. So eventually, I found a niche that would stop and listen. So that was when we got the most things done for the women veterans at the VA. And it just makes me feel so humble to go to the VA now. And I see some of the women that were there when I was there, and they tell me, how much they appreciate what I did. And it's just a very humbling experience.
Absolutely. I am, like I said, I'm sitting here and I have to remember what I'm doing. I have to remember my job right now that I'm hosting, and I'm just listening to you. But I could listen to you all day about this. And another event that you and I went to, we didn't go together, but we wound up riding home together, and that was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And the Women's Veterans Alliance, and just to watch them recognize you to such a high esteem. And because I just, I met you in a women's group in Los Angeles, and not it wasn't a military group, it just happened to be a women's group. So I wasn't really familiar with everything that you were a part of. But that trip to Vegas for the conference, the unconference as they call it, was wonderful. I'm not sure if you had any impact on that, but if you can talk about that experience. And because and what I'm sorry, what prompted me to ask you about that is because while I was there at that conference, it helped me understand that I am a veteran and that I do deserve the same respect as other veterans. And I thank you for standing up and not being silent. So tell us about, the personality behind not being silent and your involvement at the Vegas event.
Melissa Washington, who is the founder of that organization, she has been a mentor to me, and also she's been great at recognizing some of the attributes that I have. And I think that her promotion for the women veteran group is outstanding. She never stops. She is just she's just an angel in disguise, really. Initially, I met her through a friend of mine, Christine, and we started an organization together, the three of us. And unfortunately, the organization has folded now, And I think that we did a lot of things in the short period of time that we were there.
Awesome. So look, we got a little bit more time. So we're going to take another break, but I want you and what you just ended on, as far as like the organization that you all started together, Folded, that could have been something that was mentally challenging, heartbreaking. How do you handle those things when you see some of the things that you were trying to get done for women veterans that didn't come into fruition? How do you handle that mentally and physically?
Well, mentally, you have to handle it and know that, failure is not an option. Things, if you fail, so you move on to something else. And sure enough, we moved on to something else. And as a result of that, look, Melissa organization is, in fact, I think it's international. And she moved on to something else. All of us did. And so I think that we can't take it personal when things don't work out.
Mhm.
Things happen for a reason.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Did you all heard what she said? Do not take it personal. Don't take on somebody else's stuff. If it doesn't belong to you, be okay with moving on to something else, because you will benefit from everything that you learn, even when things don't go exactly as planned. Well, I tell you, we are about to take another break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about leadership and the leadership roles that you played and how successful you were in those. So we'll be right back.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do. Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Dr. Stacey Bulluck is the CEO of Power in Resilience Workforce Development and Coaching Agency and the author of 5 spiritual healing books. She is a 2-time #1 best-selling Amazon author. Dr. Stacey has been creating compelling and inspiring written art since the age of 10. To date, her published literary art, which started with Beaten Oil and Don't Let Your Brain Go Numb, Regaining Power Through Resilience. She wrote a chapter called The Healing of My Heart in an anthology titled I Am My Sister's Keeper, which went #1 on Amazon as well. Next, her book Recognizing the Stranger in the Mirror was also a #1 best-selling book on Amazon, and now she has written another captivating, life-changing book titled Are You Present? All of Dr. Stacey's books may be purchased on Amazon. She can also
It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
And we're back. It is a wonderful time that we are spending here. But let's ask the producer, Todd. Todd, what do you think about this conversation?
Well, it's a great conversation. You picked a perfect guest to start off Monday because she's inspirational, her story, and I admire her hustle and all of her hard work. And let's get right back to this great guest.
Yes, let's do that. And as we said right before the break, we are going to talk about leadership because, I think our country or the world actually is needing great leaders. So tell us, over time, how did your leadership style evolve?
Okay, I think that one of the things that we have to recognize that um, to be a great leader, your style may have to change depending upon the situation. As sometimes you may have to be an autocratic leader, and other times you may have to be a follower. In order to be an effective leader, you have to be a great follower as well. And I think that leadership is more than control. I think leadership is about learning, leadership is about accepting, leadership is about knowledge. For instance, when I was at the VA hospital, one thing that I pride myself in, all of my employees, when I was the nurse manager, were treated equally. The maintenance person was treated no differently than my charge nurses. So I think that you have to be people oriented and you have to be acceptant. You have to accept people from all levels.
Absolutely. We have this thing going on now about inclusion. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not just for, underserved populations. Everybody it should be called human inclusion. That's what it should be called. Humanity is included because we all bring something to the table. And you are bringing some, oh my gosh, you are bringing some nuggets. You're bringing some things not just to the table, you're bringing some things to the world. And you've accomplished a lot in the military and outside. You told us about one, but can you tell us a little bit more about some of your other accomplishments?
Yes. Currently, I serve on the NAACP Military and Veterans Affairs Committee on a national level. And I was just appointed co-chair of the active duty component of that. I think that people do not really recognize the work that is done by the NAACP. There's a lot of negativity that's put out. And if you would look at some of the legal things that we are involved in, and some of the things that we've done within the military structure, you will be in awe. So one of the other organizations that I belong to is I'm a commissioner for the County of Los Angeles, Second District, Holly Mitchell, and we do a lot of things for as far as policies and things for veterans. I'm also a member of the American Legion, and I just finished being commander of Jackie Robinson Post. So the things that we can do in the community is awesome. You just need to step out and be involved.
Yes. I remember you inviting me to take your place as a speaker at the VFW in Compton. I will never forget that experience because, and it was during Women's History Month. And I was so honored to be able to do that for you. Oh my goodness. I felt like, what? Okay, I got to make sure that this is done right because I have to represent Lieutenant Colonel Jackson-Kelley in the best way. And I'm so excited that you allowed me to do that. And like you said, getting involved in our community. Is there, I heard you mention the American Legion. Are you a part of any other veteran service organization?
Yes, I'm a lifetime member of the DAV as well. And
Okay.
I'm not a member of AMVET, but I work with them with some of the events that they have.
Okay. Um, can you tell us a little bit about transitioning? Because I know that that had to be something to transition from the military to the civilian sector, as we call it. And was there anything that you said, oh, wait a minute, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this?
Transitioning from the military to civilian life, um, I chose to come back to California when I got out of the military. And as a result of that, I found myself having to really live with friends while I was looking for a place for me and my son. I had a young son at the time. And I did not know that, first of all, I didn't know I could go to the VA hospital. I didn't know anything about the benefits that were available as far as veterans. There was no, the briefing that were given were nothing like they are now. So I I had to wait until the military sent my references to the jobs that I applied for. And if you know anything about waiting for references for the military, you know it's an extensive amount of time. So basically, I guess now that I look back on it, I guess I was homeless because I didn't have a place initially. And I was living on the funds that I had saved. So taking care of my child and myself, I found myself getting down to, minimum resources. But finally, I did find a place. And after a significant amount of time, the VA hospital did call me. And I went to work at the VA hospital. But it was traumatic and kind of desperate at times, trying to navigate the system and not having any resources.
Yeah, I think a lot of veterans are still having that issue today. And when we come back, I want you to think about what can be some best practices to get that information out there. I know you talked about the community and some of the veteran service organizations, and I'm thinking that there's got to be another way as well. But if you want to be a part of this conversation, please, 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 whatever platform you're watching us on, go ahead and send us a question and we'll get it answered. But we'll be right back. We're going to take a break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many Black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many Black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. a must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
The J.C. Cooley Foundation is a nonprofit organization that was started in October of 20.
Listen up, it's Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey.
Without
Check it out. It's Dr. J.C. Cooley. Hey. Let's go. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Is it possible to stay in continual pursuit of this thing we call life? We all will grow older, at least that is the goal. I hope. Let's work at achieving a mindset that will not allow us to stop desiring more out of life. Let's go after the abundant life. Yes, that will look different for all of us, but it still has a look. Make sure your picture has a lot of love and peace. These ingredients will always cause us to want more. There will be days we need a nudge, push, or a pull. Ensure the life you pursue continually thrives. Learn to become your own soulmate. We have a soul that was to be alive and vital. It craves to bring the excellence of who we are to the forefront. The world is waiting on you. Present the best of who you are. We need you.
Are You Present? The newest book by Dr. Stacey Bulluck. We must be present while we are on our pursuit of this abundant life.
J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
All right, we are back. And time is not waiting on any of us. It is going by so fast. They always say time flies when you're having fun. And I am having a complete ball right now. This is just an honor for me. But I want to ask you, how do you stay connected to the military community for those who are out there just getting out of the military? I know you've been out for a while, so have I. However, I'd still find it necessary to stay connected so we'll know some of those things that you were just talking about that a lot of veterans may not get the information.
Yeah. Well, I volunteer also at the VA hospital. So sometimes there's active duty people, personnel that comes out, and sometimes I communicate with them. And oftentimes I receive phone calls from people in the active duty segment who want information about different things. And I go out to El Segundo debate and I interact with the personnel out there. So, and as I said, with the NACP, it will be more intense now that I have this subcommittee role.
Yes, they are definitely going to be looking for some answers from you for sure. And I know you have them. And I believe that, experience helps us out a lot to be successful. Is there a way you would define success over your life's career?
Success, um, it, it's defined as accomplishing a purpose. And when I read the definition of success, and it says having achieved popularity, and I disagree with that definition because most of the times when you make decisions, you become unpopular. You're not so popular, if the decision is not according to the person that you are interacting with or you are having dealings with. So I certainly have not achieved popularity at all times, but I believe in standing fast in what I believe in, and if I believe in doing the right thing, and I cannot just sit back and watch an organization or a person doing something that I feel is not right. I have to speak up.
Yes.
I'm like John Lewis when it comes to that.
Yes, and
One person I admire so much.
get in some good trouble.
Yes,
And they actually call that now, what they call it, standing on business.
right.
Standing on business. All right. Well, we are almost out of time here, but if you could go back and give yourself any advice, what would you say to you?
I would say when the Navy told me that after I had achieved my BSN and I wanted to be an officer, and they told me they didn't have any female billets, I would say um, that is unacceptable, and I will not. I will not abide by that ruling. So I would investigate it further rather than accepting it as I did.
That is a great thing to not accept no. And you know what? So many people in the military, we get caught up in um they told me I could not, so I won't, so I can't. Because I sometimes say that the military was a blessing and a curse, because what it does is it definitely puts you inside of a regimented box of sorts. So when you get out, you have to find your way out of that box. The military will tell you what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat it, what you're going to wear, where you're going to live. But when you're no longer literally signed up, there are some things that you do not have to accept.
Right. Absolutely.
And I say that to veterans all the time. You are no longer in the military, and you no longer have to accept when somebody tells you no. If people want to get in contact with you, how can they do that? Do you have I know you have social media.
My email is GEEKELL@iCloud.com.
Did y'all hear that? Repeat it for the people one more time.
GEEKELL@iCloud.com.
Thank you. And I got one more question because we got a little bit more time, more than I thought. Well, my last question is, what do you consider as your life's mission?
I'm sorry, what do I consider?
What do you consider as your life's mission?
My life's mission is to continue um, advocating for veterans as long as I have breath in my life, in my body, and to speak up when I feel something is wrong.
Amen. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Speak up when you feel something is wrong. We need more bold men and women in our society today to speak up when something is not right. And we know when things are not right. We all came here born knowing what's wrong and what's right. Now,
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, if we decide to allow that to be skewed, that's probably not the best way to go.
Right.
But we are going to go ahead and oh my goodness, I'm almost don't want to end the show, but I know that we have to. We have to get out of here. We've been talking to Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley for
Thank
the
you.
you're so you're so welcome. It was definitely a pleasure of mine. And those of you all who don't know, I'm sitting in for Dr. James J.C. Cooley, but I also have my own show called Tools for Everyday Living. And I'm going to have Dr. See, there I go again, Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley. I believe that you are worthy of a doctorate for sure. I'm sure your life has given you everything that is needed for you to earn your doctoral. And I'm sure that people, we can sit at your feet and listen to you all day and have just wisdom poured into us. But I think I'm getting out of here a little bit early. And I don't know if you want to say something else to the people. I know you got another nugget in there that you could share with us real quick.
I just want to say that there have been mentors in during my career, and I think that that's so important that you find someone to mentor you. And I've been blessed because I've had several, and I just like to give a shout out to Dr. Gloria Willingham Torre and Barbara Ward and Major General Mary Kite, who has been my mentors over the years.
See, look at that, y'all. We know wisdom tells you you can't do this by yourself. You,
Right?
you need some guidance. So if you want guidance from Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley, reach out to her. She just gave us her email. Give it to us one more time, Lieutenant Colonel, and then we are going to get out of here because time
Okay.
is of essence. We got about 30 seconds left.
It's GEEKELL at iCloud.com.
All right. You all need to make sure if you need some guidance, some military information, or you just need wisdom for your life. If you're transitioning from the military and you can't quite figure it out, make sure that you reach out to Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson-Kelley, and especially the women out there that are formerly military. Thank you.
Thank you.
Show. It's your life.